Okay, I think we're starting. Just gonna do our normal, like, first 15 seconds of unsure uh, if it's actually streaming or not. And okay, looks like it is. And I guess there's gonna be an ad for. Oh, that's probably Fantastic Four, which I'm sure is going to be a great quote movie. And by great, I mean terrible. But what do I know? Um, all right, so this is the TextQuest dev stream for July 30th. And what are we going to do today? Um, Today I figured we would do something a little light, and we would work on level transitions. So I'll show you how the level transition actually, or how a level transition gets set up in this game. Um, it's actually fairly simple. It's sort of based on how level transitions work in any of the 3D Legend of Zelda games. So when you approach a area that is sort of the end or the entrance to another level, um, you will keep moving forward in the direction you were going, but you won't be able to actually control um, the direction anymore, and it'll fade to black before fading out from black, and then you're in the new level. So there are three possible ways we can go in this. It doesn't really matter. None of the other three levels are fully built yet, so we'll just sort of cheat. I guess we won't do the magma one. Um, we'll do the um, Terra Lacus level, the underground lake, because that's the entrance that we were texturing last time, which it's now fully textured, which is nice. So we got pretty nice wooden floors here, which I might end up changing this entrance a bit, just because I don't like. I'm not crazy about having this floor here be the same matching floor as the platform you're going to be walking on. There's nothing really bad about it, but I might want to try something a little more interesting visually, just to help differentiate things. But yeah, we got all of the um, sort of water beds textured properly, so there's single rows for the edges. I decided on doing that. We got both the bottoms textured on both sides. A little hard to see because of the glare off of the water. Um, and of course, semi-transparent water, which I think is a nice effect. Um, but yeah, so we'll go ahead and do the transitions for this, which is nice because it'll be a little easier. Actually, we'll probably end up doing this and then one other one because this one won't take very long to set up at all. Um, so what we'll probably do is we'll have player come up here, and about the third platform or the third Torii, we will actually have the transition take place. So they would keep walking, and then it'll fade to black, and then it'll fade from black to the new level. So let's go ahead and get that set up. First, let's go to caves, logic. Let's add a new. Oh, what was that? Oh, that's box colliders. Okay, yeah, I was like that. So triangle shape. I don't know what that is. So we'll call this level transitions. Add a new game object. We'll call it Terra Lacus, and then we'll just add the scene transform script. And all this script is doing, I'll open it up, show you, is it's basically just taking input on a target level and a target spawn point, so where the player is going to spawn in at. Um, and then it passes that information to the scene manager that, geez, this stupid, I hope this, okay, yeah, it looks like it's fine. Then it passes that information along to the uh, scene manager. Oh, wait, actually, this is, yes, no, this is right. Um, yeah, okay, bah. I was, I was, the first function here looked a little odd, but that's just the function that moves everything. I need to change that. It's a little nasty. Um, but yeah, as soon as the player enters a trigger, it starts a coroutine that moves the player in a specific direction, the direction they were moving in, and then it passes all that information on what level they're going to and the spawn point to the scene manager that loads the scene properly. So if we go back here, find this. So this is our current trigger zone. Obviously, it's not going to stay there in the center. So we'll move it over here. And I said third Tory about. Let's move it. So let's put about there. And then we will just go ahead and change its bounds. So size Y is probably going to end up being like 15. It might even be more than that. Up. That's probably fine. There's no real reason for it to be perfectly aligned with the ground. It's just meant to be a catch-all box collider. So we'll make it X2. Again, no reason for that since we're not going to make it thin or anything. And then Z is probably 20. Ha! Exactly 20. I'm good. Probably. Let's go ahead and make Y 20 as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And all that's going to do. Move it up one more. That's fine. Yes, that looks fine. Then make sure that it's a trigger. So as of right now, we can have it go to Terralakis. Target spawn point. I guess it would be Lake Caves. Yeah, the naming conventions for the spawn points are basically the level is the first name, and then the second name is the level that it transitions to or from. So Lake Caves means that it's the lake spawn point that connects to the caves. So right now that would start the transition, but it wouldn't actually run. I can show you what it does at least. But it won't actually transition to the level because I don't have a scene called Terralakis. So we'll be able to see when we reach about the third one, it should start this level transition. I'm not touching anything. And then it... Oh, there's probably an error. Yeah. The level Terralakis couldn't be loaded because I haven't added it to the build settings. So if I go to Scenes, Underground Kingdom, I don't actually have one for Terralakis. So we'll just make a new level real quick. We will add a... just a plain... we'll just scale it up by 5. And position it at 0. Hit F. And then make a new spawn point. Scene transition. And... Oh, I'm sorry, that's that's a scene transition. That's not what we want. We want a spawn point, actually. I won't name it. I don't know if I actually have... I do. Okay, good. So we're just going to call this Lake Caves. It's not in the dark. You have the there's the option of setting a spawn point to be in the dark, so that you have to have a light as soon as you come in. Otherwise, it'll warn you that you're about to be eaten by a Grue and all that. And most of the time, I can't think of a single instance that you would actually have the level you came from be lit and then the level you go to be dark right away. I cannot think of an instance of that actually happening, but I guess it's possible. I've left it open for that. Let's move this into here. And we're going to go back to here and look at Scene Manager. Scene Manager actually takes the ID of the level, but it actually looks up how or what the name is going to be. So let's get level name, level ID. If it's Terralakis, it's going to return Terralakis, which is Terralakis with a space. Okay. So that means I actually need to change this, add a space there. Okay. And then go to build settings and just add current. So with that stuff in there, now if we go back to the caves, and we go all the way. Oh, I almost forgot. I guess while we're here. So we have stalagmites, which I talked about last time. Now we also have stalactites, which are a little hard to see actually, just because. I mean, I haven't done any light mapping whatsoever, and once I do that and get the lighting set up, it'll be a lot more apparent that they're there. But just like stalagmites, I have three sizes: large, medium, and it's really hard to see, but small. They're not that apparent, but it's much better than having just a purely flat surface for your ceiling. It helps break things up, and in other areas, I'll be able to do cool stuff like have stalagmites and stalactites growing together. Um, I might even have one of them actually connect at some point, so it looks like a really nice pillar. But yeah, those are in there. Oh, and I guess, well, let's not get sidetracked. I'll go show you the other thing later. Um, so we have that transition going. So what it should do now is doing the transition, and then boop. All right, we're actually here. Why are there two on? Oh, right, because the other camera. But yeah, so that made that transition. That means that transition is working. Don't have the other level set up yet, but we know that that transition works. And real quick, I can show you guys the magma platform. So this is the metal tile texture. I think I briefly showed it off last time. But this is what the platform is going to be. I want to use this sort of like metal approach for the magma area. I want it to have this sort of like industrialized Rome feel to it. So you'll get a lot of sort of not Parthenon, Pantheon, and oh man, why am I blanking on Colosseum? Colosseum sort of deals, but with this sort of metal tiling going on to make it feel, more sort of like, I guess not steampunk, but like medieval punk with Roman flair. And I think that's going to be a nice juxtaposition to the more sort of Japanese Eastern style I want to go for with the Terralakis level. Just to have a nice bit of variation between the two. And then, of course, the Labyrinth, which I've shown you guys before, is meant to be a little more traditional, sort of medieval flat stone, almost like sandstone brown flavor to it. So that means we'll have a nice bit of sort of color palette for each particular scene. The Magma River will, of course, have red and orange and yellow everywhere with splashes of this sort of rustic color. And the Terralakis will have a lot of blue for the water with some occasional flashes of orange for these tori. And probably a lot of this sort of brown, sort of like rich brown with maybe a bit of lighter brown occasionally. But I might also try to darken these colors up a bit to give it a more of a nice sort of old feel. And then, of course, the Terra, or not the Terra, the Sub-Era or the Labyrinth is going to be a bit more sort of yellow-brown consistently across the board. So it'll be a little darker and warmer. But yeah, so that's that. That transition was really easy. I knew that wouldn't take too long. A more interesting one that we can do is actually, so we need to set up a transition to the Sub-Era. Open that up, which is going to take a second because the model is not well broken up. And any minute now. Any minute now. Man, that is a really terrible modeling load time. I might have to look into that. Because if it takes that long to load in the editor, it's going to take forever to load in-game, which is not okay. But yeah, we have this. We're going to have this more. Oh, I'll actually turn on fog to show you what it's going to look like. We get fog in there. So fog in this is going to be. It's meant to have a lot more of an oppressive feeling down here. Since it's supposed to be a very dark, large labyrinth. So this is sort of the style that I'm wanting to go for, this sort of warmer darkness, I guess. So you'll always be able to tell where you are, but it also, the darkness, or the fog, adds a nice layer of sort of intrigue if you're not sure where you're going. Why can't I jump? jump was not working. Okay. Well, I guess I won't mess around with that. Yeah. Weird. My jump. I don't know if that's my keyboard or if that's my script. Feels like my jump just not very good. Well, okay. I'll have to take a look at that later. But yeah, that's every level is going to have this sort of its own unique palette that I want to try and stick to. So let's go back to Terralakis, or not Terralakis, Bat Caves. So we know that this is the path to Terralakis. This is the path to the magma, and I'm thinking that this is there. Well, not thinking. This is going to be the path to the labyrinth, the sub-error. And I might end up actually changing it so it's a little lower, because I would prefer that people not go straight for this right away. So I want to kind of not hide it necessarily, but maybe just to show you what I mean, maybe lower this a little bit and have stairs or something. Or maybe have stuff coming in from the sides. I don't know. Just so that people aren't tempted to immediately go straight. Since you're going to be coming in from, well, this is what it's going to look like when you come in. You'll see these sort of two directions splayed out before you, which might be enough actually to sort of encourage people to try one the left or the right. But it's entirely possible that people will keep going straight, and there's no real reason that they can't. But I'm planning on doing stuff where certain items from the Terralakis or the Magma River will actually be helpful in the labyrinth. You don't need them, but they will help you get past things easier or more easily. So I don't know. I'll have to think on how to sort of try and get people to go towards the left and the right a little bit more, beyond just barring access to it until they've done one of the two. I don't want to do that. So one of the problems with having a level transition that's automatic and takes the control away from the player for the duration of the fade is that most of the time it's fine, but when you get into positions like this, and the magma rail will have it as well, it's not connected to the walls, so it's possible that, let's say that the transition is here, and you're angled like this, you'll just walk forward and off, and you might die before you make the level transition, which would be bad. So to prevent that, what I've done is you can see that there are these box colliders right here. And let me, they're in logic, yep. So what these are is they have to be disabled initially, which I don't think they are actually. I think they're just enabled right now. So the idea behind them is that when you start making the level transition, I will tell these colliders to turn on, and then as soon as they turn on, even if the player doesn't have control, they'll just, yeah, they're on. So you can see that if I run like straight for this and the level transition is going on, I'm not going to walk off. So it's just sort of a safety feature, and that's just to prevent players from feeling like they've been cheated into a death, which they would have been if you could just die after you've lost control of your character. So we need a way. So initially those are going to be off, and we need a way to turn them on. So let's go to scripts, environment. Oh, not environment, or not data. And then general. I need to reorganize some of this actually. So scene transition is the base script. I might actually make a folder now for scene transitions. I'll just call them transitions. So scene transitions is the base class, and we're going to go ahead and make a new script called maybe edge scene transition. I mean, it might need to come up with better names for these things. I gotta, of course, move this stuff. So this is going to be in the namespace text quest. Stuff going. Get rid of this. white space, and make this scene transition, or derived from scene transition. Oops, not find references. Let's go to declaration. Although actually, there looked like there was. Oh no, there's just the two. Good. So we're actually going to need to change some of this. So we're going to do something pretty easy to just change this. All we're going to do is add a protected virtual void start transition. And all that's going to do is basically it's going to do this stuff. So we'll move this here. Just call start transition. So now, whenever the trigger is entered initially, instead of automatically starting these things, it's going to call start transition, which is a protected function. And then we're just going to override that function here. So we're going to say override start transition. We're going to make sure it does base.start transition. And then we're going to add public game object, I guess edge guard. And then we'll just say if edge guard dot enabled. No, it'd be dot set active, isn't it? True. Simple as that. And we could be safe and also do a little thing at the bottom here, private void. Let's do start. I don't like to call awake on things that aren't directly connected to one another. Private void start. If edgeguard dot set active false. So this way, on startup, if the edge guard is just left on by accident, it'll automatically turn it off. Hey, Lauren. I am working on. I hope that I didn't miss you for 15 minutes there. I'm working on level transitions from the cave hub area. Oh, it's got to compile. So I'm showing how we do level transitions in TextQuest, and currently I'm showing how to, or how we're going to make a level transition from this level, which is not quite finished, to the labyrinth area, which requires the use of safety colliders, basically. So that's actually rigged up, and that should be all we need. So if we go back here. Oh, okay, good. I'm never sure whenever people start typing in the chat. I always think that I just missed it for 15 minutes or so. So we have level transitions. So we're going to go ahead and add one for sub error. I might rename these. There's no reason to have pretentious Latin. To edge scene transition. So we have a box collider, of course, and now we're going to add sub error edge guards here. Target level is going to be, I definitely got to redo some of these. Oh, do I really not have? Huh, I don't. Interesting. So these are old. I really need to update that. Okay, so we'll update those then. Which means that probably, those need to be updated. So we're going to update that real quick. Yeah, I know. But, it sort of fell off of the Latin thing, because I was planning on naming all of the levels after Latin words, but I came up with Terra Lacus, which is Underground Lake, Sub Error, which I thought was funny because it's the word error. But Magma River, I couldn't think of a good one for it, or I couldn't find a good translation for it. So since I don't know Latin, there's always just sort of cut and paste Latin, which isn't very great. Oh, right. So let's go back to scene transition. We're going to fix some of these level IDs and some of these spawn point IDs. So we have caves, lake, ruins. So this is actually going to be, say, maze, caves. And that should be good for now. And then, so instead of inverted mountain, I'm going to rename this to be just for now, sub error. Delete these. So with that, let's find references here. Go to declaration here. Let's refactor this, rename it sub error. Space it out so it makes more sense. And sub error. So all that should work now. Yeah, all that stuff. And let that compile real quick. We will go to scenes. Scenes, Underground Kingdom, sub error. Let's go back to build settings, add that, make sure it's in there. I don't think it is. It is now. So that's in there. We can save. Oh, almost forgot. Let's make sure that our transition is positioned properly. Let's move it to about here. Don't want to stick it too far in because then it'll start to feel like you're just walking for ages. So let's stick it about here. Actually, let's turn those on so I can see exactly where they are. So sub error is here. Let's move it to about there. So that way it's basically impossible. Let's move it one more in. That way it's impossible for the transition to happen without the guards going up. Or at least very unlikely. So now that we have that, we're going to stretch its bounds to make sure that it fits properly. So we want x to probably be 5 or 10. Might as well make it 10. Make sure it's a trigger, of course. Let's go 10 for height, and we'll move it up to, oh, that's rotation. 5 height, so that way it's touching the ground. There's no reason to make them absurdly tall like that. I just like to. That way there's no chance of people actually... Oh, and actually, you know what? Let's... Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's shrink its width. Because what I don't want to have happen is... I guess 7. Okay. I don't want people to run at this, then jump off, and then hit the edge as they're falling. I would prefer that they just fall to their death. Yeah, it's you never know what people are going to be able to find, so trying to mitigate what unexpected results can result is best. So we're actually going to make this 5, and we're going to scoot this back some, because that way there's no way they can hop around it. Use rocket launcher on ground. That is the secret bonus level, actually. Not really, though. Although there are some hidden Easter eggs. Not quite to that extreme, but there are some oddities that you'll be able to find and use. So that's in there. All of this is in there. Let's go to sub error and maze caves. Save this out. Let's go to the sub error real quick. And we're going to make sure that we have a spawn point that is maze caves. Good. Let's go back to caves. Man, I am just blazing through this stuff today. We might as well just add the magma run too while we're at it. And it's going to be very similar to this setup. So let's test to make sure that that transition works. We get the fade. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Oh, and this is going to be fun. It's actually going to have 2 of us in the scene, I think. Yep, we got 2 heroes. But we know that transition works. Oh yeah, the green light. The green light's going pretty good. We're not green lit yet. But we have 650 yes votes last I checked, which was about a day ago. And it's about a 60% no, 40% yes, which the average is... Okay, so we're still here. Good. The average is 70% no, 30% yes, so we're better average-wise, but just in terms of raw votes, we don't quite have enough yet. I don't know what quite enough is. So we're going to try and do this. Ah, crap. I ended up going the wrong way. I'm going to cheat and not maximize on play so that I can see when I'm getting close to touching it. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it's going well. Things have slowed down. I've more or less flatlined just because it's been a while since I've been able to show it off at a place. I guess I can talk about. I'm planning on going to Bitbash. There we go. Good. So the collider came on and it stopped me from walking off. I'm planning on going to Bitbash up in Chicago. Well, I mean, to be fair, the downvoting makes sense because it's just asking if you would. I don't remember if it asked if you would buy the game or if you would play it. And I will definitely say that my presentation of the game has been not the best because I don't have a sweeping landscape shot, which people want. But I haven't had the time to make a really nice eye-catching level yet. The levels that are in there are good, but they're not, I don't think, up to the sweeping level that people expect. Something like Skyrim has those, really wide shots of just a lot of stuff. And the latter half of the game is going to have levels like that, but the first half is meant to be this very sort of basic, not sparse, but more open environments to sort of ease you into seeing a bunch of stuff, which is kind of hurting me a bit. But I don't know. It's difficult. The trend seems to be yeah, it is kind of weird that it basically just is a 30% no or 30% yes, 70% no. Um, yeah, I think the thing I really need to do is, as far as the green light stuff goes, people tend to like the game if they play it, but not if they just look at it. So getting people to play it is sort of the key trick here, because normally once people play it, they just say like, "Oh, it's great, I love it." Um, but it's getting them to play it that's kind of tough. Uh, and what was I going to do? Right, we're going to do the Magma one now. So we have that one working. So the Magma one's going to be very similar, basically, except we're going to have smaller, little shorter width between the colliders. So we'll go back here, logic, sub-error, edge guards. I could just be lazy and duplicate this. You know what, we got time. I can just make a new one. So we'll just add game object, call it Magma River, or edge guards. Just go ahead and add that collider, add a box collider. Let's move this out here. So this one's actually going to be tricky. Because I don't necessarily want. Well, actually, no, it won't be that bad. So the plan for this is to have a sort of automated lift that. Let me move the box collider so you can see it. Is going to be basically where that box collider is, and then you'll be able to get into it and flip a switch to automatically begin moving. And then once you hit about here, the level transition will happen. But if you're in the lift, you already have walls, which means that you don't want to constrain players to like this very tiny rail center. That would be sort of awkward. So what I'm actually going to want is there are a couple of ways I could do this, and I think the way I'm going to try is we're going to have just these edge guards be here, and rather than having them stretch quite a bit of ways vertically, we're just going to have them stretch basically up until the platform itself, its floor. That way that if you're in the platform moving, you won't get hit by these colliders. And if you're on the rail running this way because you wanted to find sort of a secret treasure down here, then they will turn on and you'll be safe still. So for now, what did I call the ones up top? Edgeguard A and Edgeguard B. Okay. Edgeguard A. And let's change its bounds. I don't know. 10. 20 to be safe. No reason to be stingy. Let's go with 5. That might be a bit too much, but we can always move it down. That's fine. Let's move it down to about here, I think. And before we add the level transition, I'll probably walk down here and compare my size to it. This should be fine. Actually, I might want to lower it one more. Because again, you got to take into account people might be jumping at awkward times when they do it, and that means that they could potentially get on top of the box collider somehow when it turns on, and then they would just walk off the edge anyway. So we have that. Let's move it over to the left a bit because we want to go left to right. So duplicate this, call it Magma Guard B. Back over here. So now we have these two things. This is going to be interesting. Let's leave them on. Let's walk over there. Oh yeah, and I still need to tag the ground properly. So right now it's just the same footstep sounds across the board. But once I tag these, we'll have different sound effects for wood and different sound effects for metal and all that stuff. That'll help add nice flavor and texture to this level. If we drop down here, I'm either going to get stuck or... Oh good, I didn't. So let's see, right here. Okay. Yeah, that works. Let's see. Okay, so the player collider handling that pretty well. I'm gonna minimize or not maximize on play, so I can walk through here just fine. But what would happen if I hit level transition here? You know what? I think I'm just gonna stick the level transition in a little bit past their start. So we have the guard now. Turn these off too. Level transitions. So we have the sub error. Oh, that's one we want. Your hero is too skinny. Well, actually, he's not that bad. He's 1 meter wide technically, so 3 feet is not terribly skinny. Or actually, no, he might be 0.5 meters, which is only 1.5 feet. That might be a little skinny. Maybe I should beef him up a bit. But then again, it's not like you ever see him. Oh, you know what? If we finish early, that might be a fun thing to do. One of the things I wanted to do is have the player's favorite color affect the color of the model that gets rendered. There's literally no reason for that because you will never see the hero except maybe in the end credits sequence. But I would still like to have that in there just for my own personal amusement. And if I ever do anything that shows shows your player character, it would be interesting. So let's go ahead and do Magma River. Not Magama. Magma River. Add component. Transition. Oh, not transform. Transition. Edge scene transition. It is going to the Magma River. And it is going to be Magma Caves. Okay. And the edge guard is going to be the Magma River edge guards, of course. So all that's in place. Now let's just move this. It wrapped. Move it to about there. And then let's see. Oh, okay, I can move it quite a bit further forward. Let's move it to about there, I think. One more in. Boop. All right. That way. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I wonder. Oh. See you later, Lauren. Thanks for stopping by, and have fun with your stream. So I think I might try a compound. So let's make this 2 or 5. A compound. 4. 4 is good. I don't know if this will work or not, but it'll be interesting to try. Let's add another box collider. Move up. I don't know how well this is going to work. Hopefully it will be fine. Let me check actually if scene transition requires. Okay, so it just requires a box, but it doesn't specify what box. So let's go back, make sure that they're both triggers. And then this one it's sort of going to be a spatula effect. because I still need to catch the. We'll go ahead and make it 5. We'll make its height 5. I still need to catch the player making the transition up here in the if they're on the moving platform. Let's make it 6. Oh no. We want that to be 5 still. We want the Y to be 6. There we go. And then X is, or not X, it's going to be Z, is going to be 5. That should be enough. So it's going to be that sort of spatula effect. And then we'll probably increase the Z to be 3. Oh, not 3. The X to be 3. And then we'll probably, well, 1, let's scoot it in by 2. So that's what that's going to look like. And then we will go ahead and scoot both of them in a bit so that they're closer to the sort of curve here. Right about there, I think, will be good. So now, this is going to be interesting to see. It should just start everything. Should be fine. We won't fall off. Oh, actually, no. Let's. Well, we'll have to keep it minimized for now so I can see the transition taking place. And let's highlight that. That way I can see it. Okay, want to be careful. And, crap. Well, I mean, it worked. I accidentally, I thought I was going to fall off, so I ended up pressing W and D, which made me go at a straight angle there. To try this one more time. This is the fun part of making a game, is you just do the same thing like 10 times. So let's, there we go. Okay, it turned on, it stopped me from walking. That's good. We know that that works. So we can save that, quit, and let's go to, what should the scene name be called for Magma River? Magma River is just called Magma River. Good. So we'll go to scenes. We'll just duplicate the Terra Lacus level because it's going to be just filler for now. Rename this to Magma River. Build settings. Then we'll add Magma River. Save. We'll see if this transition works. And we got a little bit of extra time, so we might take a bit of time to do that color changing thing that I wanted to do. So that works. We know it works. Hooray! Okay, so that all works. So that's how level transitions are done. It's fairly straightforward. Like I said, it takes a lot of the inspiration from Legend of Zelda. I just like the way that those level transitions worked. It's really nice. It's pretty seamless. And it's, I don't have it in right now. Well, no, it's in. I don't have level descriptions in. I can show you what actually happens in other levels. So when you make a scene transition, what it actually does is it looks to see if there's text describing the level that you're transitioning to. And if there is, it will actually display on the bottom of the screen. So if we go to Plains. Plains, I think, takes a long time to load too, which I don't know why. Well, actually, that's a lie. Plains is, everything in Plains is scaled up. I think that the stats are pretty terrible. I have a lot of draw calls in here because like each one of these wheat rows is scaled up. It's just a giant scaling problem, which means that none of it batches. So I have like 100 draw calls in this scene alone from everything being scaled, which is not great. So, oops, I forgot to maximize on play. So this is the Plains area, which I think I've shown off a little bit before. But I'm going to make a transition to the caves area, or not the caves, the canyon area. So you'll see when we make the canyon, it says the sound of rushing water. Hello. Oh, I turned it off. That's right. Okay. I need to turn that back on. I was worried for a second. I'm like, why? I turned off a bunch of levels for the demo because the demo is only the first 2 levels of the game. So let's try this again. Also, I'll get rid of my. There we go. So when we make this transition, you'll see text at the bottom of the screen. The sound of rushing water fills your ears, and then after the other level is loaded, which apparently is taking a while. Apparently, why do I have so much batching going on? It's not that bad. Did I cap it at 60, or is this just running so poorly? Oof. I got to do a lot of optimization. So yeah, whenever you make a level transition, it has different flavor text to sort of keep everything nice and going, and make it a little more immersive and nice to go in between places. And does the audio not play whenever you first drop in here? I don't remember it being. It doesn't. That's really weird. Oh, it's because that's part of the scene transition stuff, right? So if I just hit play, it doesn't do it properly. But yeah, the first time you ever visit a level, it actually gives you a unique description. It's nothing particularly glamorous, and it might be what I. There are a couple of sort of sub things that I need to do, like adding hints, which are contextual, as well as just, for example, if I type look. What that should do is, if you don't specify something, it should actually look at the level you're in and say what the level is. I don't have that in yet, but I'm planning on adding that. So if I add, and oops, I clicked off of it. Enter. We go in here. We get your footsteps disturb the dust as you enter the old cabin, and then we're in the cabin, which I need to remake these light maps. Oh my god, so terribly. I need to remake. Actually, I just need to remake this level in general. It's pretty bad. But yeah, and then if I leave, unlock and open, it gives you. This is the first time technically I've entered because I started playing. So if I go back here, your eyes adjust to the dim light trickling into the cabin. Go back here. A bird chirps in the distance. I can just put as much flavor text in as I want. Usually I stick to like 2 or 3 descriptions per level. One unique one for the first time you ever go in there, and then a couple for your subsequent visits. And it just randomly picks which one, except for the initial one, which is always the first one. But I don't have that set up for the other levels yet. It's just this data object. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's in data. And then level flavor text is all it is. So we have like castle quarters, the first time text, and then any descriptions after that. So you can see, I think Plains has 2. Yeah. And that's fairly easy to do, but I keep everything to a CSV on Google Drive. That way everything's in one area and I can easily reference it later. So that's in there. And right, so let's go to prefabs player hero. So we have a player script. I do have a sprite module. Good. So we're just going to do a quick little quick and dirty thing. Do I have it spawn ever? I might not ever explicitly tell it to spawn. We will have, I forget if spawn is supposed to reset modules. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we'll have it base reset its modules. And the modules are just sort of the basic components like collision and audio and all that stuff. And we will also say get module sprite module, which is just our model. Dot color. Oh, really? Model sprite, I guess. I guess I can change that. Dot color equals. Okay, now this is going to be interesting because I got to remember. Session dot favorite color. Right. Okay, hold on. This is actually, I think, going to be global variables dot color check, right? And then that's going to be, and that should give us a string, but I think it might also give us, yeah, it gives us, boo. I might go ahead and change, or add this function here. Bool, rich text equals true. So by default, it will assume you want rich text tags, which will give you the color, and then or add the actual color rich text tags to everything. So instead of with this rich text thing, it'll default to true, which means it'll basically behave the same it has before. Instead, I'm going to add rich text. If so, do that. Otherwise, we're just going to be an empty string. And then we'll just go ahead and say if rich text color hex plus equal all that. So that shouldn't affect anything else. Everything should just default to what it was before. And then I think I can do toColor. I think I set it up to be able to do that. Knowing me, I probably didn't. I don't think I did. Well, I probably need to add a hex color. For the time being, I know that I can do this, though. Oh, I know. Can I do color extensions? Hex to color. Good. So that should work, I think. And then, oof. Right. I don't remember when spawn is called. No. Just doesn't whenever I do a level transition. That's nice. So I was calling spawn. I guess I just didn't have anything in the basic hero stuff to override things. So that means that it's not going to work here whenever you start playing initially. So you'll be able to see that it's yellow, or it's white. Oh, and actually, you know what? That's... We're going to have to go back to the very beginning because I think it defaults to being white if you don't set it at the very beginning of the game. So let's go to Scenes, Other, Main Menu. Actually, we'll go to Splash Fade, because Splash Fade is when I load my settings. So this will be fun. Everything should be nice and shiny now. Start, we'll do New Game. Chris, yes, normal. I am right-handed. My favorite color is green. I'm my hero, of course. And let's start. So this is going to spawn us in the castle quarters, actually. But we can pause. And moment of truth. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. I can't tell because of the lighting. Is it? It's black. Why is it black? Ugh, great. So I've apparently not got a good hex to color thing. It must be wrong. Really? Well, let's take a look at the model. Model has been set to black. That is definitely not correct. So we could take a look real quick at where is player? Let's take a look at hex to color. So at least it is setting a color whenever we spawn, which is good. So it removes a hash if it's in there. Hex color length equals. Alright. We debug real quick. I'm just curious. Debug.log. String.format. This will just be a quick and dirty debug. 0, 1, 2, and then it's just going to be red, not read, green, and blue. That way we can at least see if it's just sort of going off the rails crazy with the color. And of course, let's also explore. Let's make sure that the saves. So autosave is what that would have been. So our favorite color is green, which is good. So let's just start this back up again. Start. Let's just hit continue. That should take us right back. Let's go to debug. So it's set to initially white, and then it's set to 0, 0, 0. Okay. Freaking, why does it always do that? So, interesting. That means it could just be me being stupid. Yeah, I don't really want to sort of sit here and debug this in front of you guys. It would be very boring. I might just opt for a quick and dirty solution just to make sure. Well, actually, we know that it's working. It's just my hex solution that's dumb. But I think it won't be that bad. We're just going to do one more. Oh, what am I doing? 3. I'm not 4, 3. And then dot length. So we'll actually no, we know that that can't be right because it's 255 across the board when it's white, which means that it's at least we know that its length is 3. Or at least it's either 6 or 3. Chances are it's probably 6, which just means that. Okay. Maybe I was just being dumb. Try it one more time. After that, I think. So it's 6. Hit continue. It is 14. 14 characters, really. That's a lot of characters. That doesn't seem right. Well, that would be why. 14 characters? How could it be 14 characters? Okay, out of curiosity, let's just replace this to hex color. I'm legitimately curious. I don't know how it could reach 14 characters. Because green is the color. It's not even a 14 character word. Interesting. I guess it does get parsed out to we go to global variables. So if it's green, we get this. So green should still be 00C90D. Let's go back here. Continue. Control P. I don't need to keep playing. It's F. Oh no, it's. Oh, it's. Oh right, I forgot to specify not to strip it. Ah man. I put it in there and then I just immediately forgot it. I feel so smart. Right. Comma false. Jeez. Let no one tell you that I am not a man who does not figure out his mistakes. Try it one more time, and if it's probably going to work perfectly, right? That's always how it works. It always works perfectly when you want it to. Continue. Pause, and then BAM! Right there. Green. needlessly, needlessly convoluted because I'm kind of not not on top of things, I guess. But yeah, that's nice. So let's go ahead and let's do a new level or a new game, and we'll change our color a bit. Um, let's do new game. Blah. Yes, that is my name. Normal. I am left-handed. My favorite color? Violet. Am I a hero? Yes. Start again. And hooray! It works. So nice. Whenever the player spawns, they are going to be their favorite color. Um, and like I said, it's right now it's you can't ever see yourself, but in the future, there are going to be some areas that you will be able to, or at the very least, the end credits of the game is going to have um, your player character in it, and it's going to be displayed as your favorite color, of course. So I think that's a pretty good bit of stuff accomplished today. Let's go back to the caves. That way I start up there next time. Um, yeah, we added 3 different level transitions. You guys got to see how that works out. And we added some nice color, dash of color to the game. Um, yeah, I guess I can't really think of anything else that we could do in this time. It's been about an hour, and I don't really want to keep you guys too long after that. Um, yeah, and I guess if any of you guys are going to Gen Con, which is this weekend, I might be there. Um, maybe, possibly. And if maybe possibly, I might see you there. But otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll be back next Tuesday, and I'll have something completely different to do, I'm sure. And yeah, see you guys then. Thanks for watching.